Toasty Rides, this one's for you. First of all, I want to thank you so much for doing all these videos. I would say that you make the bicycles straight out of my heart. So if I'm looking for any inspiration, I'm going to check whether you have done something similar. Anyway, so I was watching this video here from your cyclocross build, recent. Was watching it again last night, and I was thinking to myself, oh, I like that. I need to build something like that too. And of course, I will sort of go there. Steel bike, vintage, barely able to cyclocross. But then I thought to myself, don't I have something like that? And basically, if you would be thinking of the problems that you had with mud clearance, this is a 33mm tire. So by the time you use any hybrid aluminium, more recent frame, a so-called dad bike frame, I would guess, and build yourself a bike. On this bike of mine here, first of all, let me apologize for the Ginelli stickers. Somebody not so clever put Ginelli stickers on there. I need to take them off because this is a K2 frame actually. Anyway, beside the point. So if you take any random dad bike frame that fits you in size, that has brake bosses for cantilever brakes, then you're on for something rather flexible. This bike has had many disguises for me. I used it for almost 2 years in Istanbul to go shopping, with a lot of luggage space added and racks and whatnot. So now I've recently shed all the weight because that's the first bike that is actually functioning here since I moved again. So I put a 33mm cyclocross tire on the back just for weight reasons, and that's probably all I need. In the front is a 37mm gravel bike, and I don't know what the problem with this rim is. I think I need to address that. Something not quite right, huh? Anyway, so that's a 37. This usually fits properly. Maybe it's this doesn't sit properly in the dropouts. We'll fix that. So beside the point again. So if I'm looking at your cyclocross bike and the issues that you had with it, and yes, it's an eligible vintage cyclocross bike, I understand that. But if you basically just take any frame in order to build a slightly off-road capable bike, which I think is a rather fun thing to do, to use something that's not made for the task, and then you can do something like that. In this case, what do we have? We have an aluminium frame. It's about 2,200 grams, if I remember correctly. It's a carbon seat post. That's the only thing that is actually properly light. All the ingredients are chosen well. The rear wheel is relatively sturdy in order to be lightweight, and then I added comfort. I have quite a rise in the stem already. I'm gonna change that soon. That's a bit too much. And I have these extremely 80mm rise up bars. All right, and they're 780 wide, if I remember correctly. So here we go. Steel fork, very classic vintage steel fork. And here is a trick element here that I made myself. So I turned myself an aluminium spacer. This has approximately an effective spacing of 10mm because it sits nicely over the foot of the sits over the seat of the race. So this actually is, I think, the main issue here. You were talking about toes touching the tire. Obviously the geometry of this frame is slightly better, and then I added this spacer exactly because of the problem that you describe. I hate that if my toes touch the front tire, and I also feel a whole lot more comfortable if I have a slightly slacker angle. So never seen anyone do anything like that. and I had this done about 10 years ago in various different sizes and whatnot. They're all lost. This is the only one that's left, but this is absolutely brilliant. So if I need this again, I'll do it again. So this little spacer gives you about another centimeter of space roughly. So basically that is what I would call a cyclocross bike on steroids, using relatively easily everywhere available ingredients. So food for thought. Hope you like it, and looking forward to your new videos. Take care.